Hello, Michelago. I'm Karen Porter, candidate for Eden-Monaro, proud resident of Bredbo, and have been working closely with ladies from Michelago and Smiths Road, and we formed a bit of a Northern Alliance. So as a group, as president of Progress, we've actually been working on improvements that we can make as a group north of Cooma. So the first question is about climate change. Now, I believe that definitely things are changing with our climate and that we can't afford to wait much longer before we actually put things in place. So some of the things that I'd like to see for our part of the electorate are like a community solar hub. So we all share solar. There's some perfect places to be able to put some solar panels and then a battery so that we can actually store it. I think that would be an easy thing, and that would give us a little bit more resilience and less reliance on the grid in case of another emergency. Our area is so flooded with African lovegrass, and I've been working with the land care people to see what we could do so we can actually do a bit of regenerative farming, planting more native grasses, because we know that native grasses burn cold, whereas a lot of the African lovegrass burns hot and fast. So, working with the farmers, helping them through some mentoring program to introduce more grasses into our region would be fantastic. The railway from Eden to Canberra, I think, is a really good idea in principle. I'd really like to see the outcome um, of the review that's happening at the moment with Snow-Monaro Council, and then we'll have more idea on whether it's feasible or not. I think running it down the highway might be the best idea. There are a lot of land now, a lot of landowners who would be affected if we were to run it down the path that it was before, and then opening up the old railway line to a trail path for bicycles would make perfect sense. I think Snowy 2.0, in theory, it's a good idea because it is using renewables. But have we missed the boat on this? Has it taken too long to get in? And could that 5 to 10 billion have been used independently in each of the towns to give us our own energy rather than running out again from a central base? I'm a little bit concerned about the conservation issues. There's going to be a lot of land that's going to have to be disturbed to be able to put this in place. They're still going to rely on coal for some time. And I also want to make sure that we actually can get local labour and it's just not all fly in, fly out. So I've actually asked them these questions over the last couple of days, and they've actually said that they have been employing local businesses and that they will continue to prioritise our people. So getting a training program in place where we can actually get some skills training done so that our young people or even our older people or whoever can actually have a go at the jobs that are being offered. So in regards to Michelago, Bredbo, Collington, I really think that it's important that we all work together as a collective because that's the only way we're going to get a voice up. I'd like to see the land changed so that we can actually subdivide it legally. I feel that we're so close to Canberra that it would encourage a lot more people to come and move out, have a bit of a tree change. I moved out about 18 months ago, absolutely love it. I would never go back. I have a 50-minute drive every day, which is tolerable on our roads. Again, I'd love to see that road upgraded. But it's an enjoyable drive, and once you're out there, it's absolutely amazing. So helping our communities to grow and to have more services and to have places that we can actually buy things late at night and that sort of thing is really important. I'd really like to see solar hub for communities, as I talked about before, in each of our towns. Quality town water for everybody. At the moment, our water's okay. I prefer my water tank water, but at least we have town water, unlike Michelago. Michelago really needs to have some town water in place and some sewerage. We don't have sewerage at Bredbo, but a lot of us are on septics, and I'm actually on a worm septic, which is fabulous. Getting some community gardens in place so we can actually share growing veggies. I know when I grew my zucchinis in in summer, I had so many zucchinis I couldn't poke a stick at it. So imagine if we could all grow something and all share it, or even come down to a community garden where everybody can network together. Having farmers markets in place, I think, is really important. Getting our local manufacturers in and actually supporting them, and we get fresh fruit and veggies, and then they also get sales real time. I think that's a fabulous idea. I think we need to be a bit more resilient with our power and our comms. During the last bushfires, we had no comms in Bredbo for a couple of days, so we were all relying on one of the towers from our local providers for our internet. And we were lucky with our power that we didn't have any power outages, but trying to make sure that we are resilient for next bushfire, and actually having a bushfire plan in place. So we've actually got an emergency plan so that if something does happen again, all of the residents know where everybody is. We know what the communication plan is. We know where the evacuation centre is. We know what needs to be done, who needs to be told. We have our evacuation centre equipped so that it can actually look after an emergency again. In regards to domestic violence, that's a really difficult issue. Domestic violence is something that is close to most people's heart, and I know I've been through it myself. And the hardest thing is having the support and having the guts to actually do something about it as a person going through it. So I think we need to get better services in place so that there are support people locally, and they can actually help you through what you need to do to get through the situation, get out of there. So it's a really hard issue. I think education is a thing that really needs to be done. Educating both the perpetrator and the victim, and working out, how they can, work on their behaviour so it does change. Domestic violence is definitely something that we need help, and I also think we need to have better policing so that when something is reported, it's taken seriously and that's done with empathy and care. Upgrading the Monaro Highway, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see my trip to Canberra a lot faster every day. So I definitely would be getting behind that, trying to get it done in one go rather than piecemeal. Every year we have roadworks and it's just so draining. So it'd be nice to have it all happen at once. It's a bit of a shame that the causeway over Michelago hasn't been done yet. I know you guys have got funding through council, but as we all know, our council isn't faring too well financially at the moment. So we have to think outside the square and see if we can go for a grant or something like that through state or federal, so we can get that in place, because with our RFS and our local traffic, it's going to be very important to get that happening for you. And in terms of infrastructure, as I said before, I really would like to see town water for Michelago. If Michelago becomes a town like it's being touted as, then it's also planned that there'll be town water given to Michelago. So why can't we facilitate that sooner rather than later? And then sewerage, actually I don't mind being independent of my own sewerage. I think that there's a lot of benefits to that, less drain on the town, and it's all being managed on my site. And the other thing is the brumbies. So we don't know how many brumbies died through the fires. All I'm asking for is a fair count of the brumbies, and then a management plan put in place. Now, if that means that we need to manage the numbers of brumbies, then that's fair enough. But I think we need to do humane treatment of all animals in our KNP. So anyway, thanks for listening to me. Hope you all vote wisely. What I'll bring to the party is a local voice, and I will be there rooting for Michelago, Bredbo, Collington, and all the other areas in the electorate. Thank you. Bye.